And it's gonna get better. But guess what? You gonna come out with joy. Be a good Pastor Lane. No, that young man right there.
Okay.
How you doing?
Hey, go on.
May God keep him too. Watch over. Be his strength and man. Never to leave him alone. Don't make this your last time.
Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, that's Sunday school.
Whew. You're going to have to give me, well, I have to watch your sermon. 'Cause I didn't take any notes.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Oh, excuse me.
Today, our Sunday school is coming from James chapter 3, verses 13 through 18, and then chapter 5, verses 7 through 12. Our topic this morning is patience. And it's titled, Wait with Patience for Wisdom. Aim for change. You have it? It says, by the end of the lesson, we will describe the value of acting with wisdom and patience in the midst of trial. Embrace wisdom from God and turn from actions that have been done out of lack of patience. In focus reads, why does everybody act like Mr. Jenkins is so great? Darlene asks, he is not all that, Mr. Jenkins, Chanel replied.
I have black.
Mr. Jenkins is great. I've been buying from him for years. He never brags about anything. He just gets the job done. Mr. Jenkins ran the corner store and the pharmacy. The store had been in the neighborhood and his family for 3 generations. Darlene started patronizing a new store in the area because she had some complaints about Mr. Jenkins. The steps and the sidewalk outside are always dirty and there are always people hanging by the door asking for money, and the prices are too high. Yet Mr. Jenkins does nothing about it. The prices are what they are because large supermarket chains can order in bulk. Mr. Jenkins' store is just one corner store, Chanel pointed out. And as for how Mr. Jenkins runs his place, it's what he doesn't do that's more important. Mr. Jenkins doesn't hassle people for being broke. He often gives families food and allows them to pay for it later. A lot of single moms go to his store when they don't have food and their paychecks haven't arrived. Chanel went on, and Mr. Jenkins knows his customers because he's built up relationships over the years. It isn't like that at the chain, and you know it. Didn't you tell me last week that there's always a new team of workers following you around the store whenever you go in? Chanel finished with her hands on her hips. Mr. Jenkins runs a good place. You would see that if you weren't so cranky. It's God's role to judge, not ours. Be patient with him, and you will see the blessings that he really is to our community. And the statement question is, could we measure up if God judged us the way we judge other people?
Mm.
How does patience help us in judging others? First of all, no, we wouldn't measure up.
No.
And how will patience help us in judging others? Well, it would change our perspective if we took time, because a lot of times we so fast to judge, quick to judge instead of thinking before we speak. So we get the wrong impression because we're so in the uproar that, we don't see, we see before we think, instead of thinking before we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times we miss the point because we have already spoken before we see the true actions, what's behind what's going on a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah, because somebody could be going through something. Were you pointing to me or Brother Wade?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Someone could be going through something and like at work. We don't know how these the children's home life is, the parents' home life is, or our co-workers' home lives are. We don't know how they got to work or what happened to them on the way to work. So we have to have patience with them and maybe like ask questions. Are you okay today? Or did you ever like when the children come in the morning, I ask the parents, I said, did they have a good night? Or did they have a good morning? Or how was their morning? How was their night? And stuff like that. So because children go through things just like we do.
Mm-hmm.
Their day might not have started out the greatest. So we have to have patience so we can and really not judge, just have patience with them. And I asked the Lord, and I know a lot of people years ago used to say, oh, don't pray for patience because God's going to put all this in it. But yeah, I have to thank him for my patience and pray for it.
We all know how God judges us. He looks at our heart. And that's what we said. We actually have the ability to do the same thing if we just have some patience. I try to explain not just to mine, but other people too. I want to see what people are saying to me. I don't just want to hear it, because if I just hear it, I'm always hearing things that other people have already said. Some of them meant it, some of them didn't. But if I'm actually doing my best to look at you and understand you and see how you're presenting your conversation to me, that's what I mean by seeing what you're saying to me, not just hearing it. Because there's only so many words in the dictionary that you can use. But how many people mean what they say when they talk to you? And that's why, it's always good when you're dealing with children or whatever the case may be, you go down to where they're at so they can see, so they can meet you eye to eye.
Yeah.
When people are talking to you, you need to look at them and pay attention, because just their inflections and their body motions and their body language will actually give you an opportunity to see what they're saying to you. And you can decipher whether or not they mean what they're saying, or whether it's just some, use one of the passages where it's some hungada.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So patience is the only way that you do that. If you're in a quick hurry just to, even if you're speaking to somebody, if you're in a quick hurry just to get it out your mouth, then that's one thing. And if you're in such a hurry that you can't open your ears up wide enough to actually listen and see what is going on, then you can fall victim to a whole lot of unnecessary stuff.
Yes. Just as Jesus is our example, he's the greatest example ever. He set the roadmap for us to follow him. So we follow Jesus, not our own instincts or our own will, but if we follow behind him, then we can be the examples that he actually prepared for us to be. And I think it still boils down to the golden rule, treating people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
So we will want people, let's put ourselves in the situation. If we will want people to have patience with us in our situation, then that same patience we should portray to anybody else that we meet. So it goes, it stems off from the golden rule, and not so much that, but we have Jesus as our greatest example. And I think with all that following, it should be an easy thing.
Amen.
Over, you have anything to say?
No, I thought I saw, did you raise your hand?
I was
Okay,
getting ready to understand. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
okay, I'm good.
I was just
Okay,
wondering,
never mind.
I think when we say patient, I thought about what is patience?
Okay,
What is patience? I mean, we can't demonstrate it unless we really know what it is. What is patience? Because our world today, everybody's in a fast hurry.
Yes, they are.
Just move, go, run, the streets, the cars, nobody
that
is
is true.
fulfilling anymore.
That is true.
So what is
Everybody's-
patience? How can we really demonstrate it unless we know
What it is.
what it is?
That's a good one.
What it is?
Then I can piggyback on that.
Okay.
Because I was just getting ready to say, when you asked me, to look at patience. But I thought about judging. Many times when we judge, like they were judging this guy. And when I looked up judging, it says to form an opinion about after you carefully weighing of evidence and testing of premises. Well, a lot of times when we as people, like here, we don't weigh the evidence. We don't find out why he does what he does. And so many times that causes us not to have patience because we see it in our way. And that's what the thing, as she was saying about being patient. A lot of times we're not patient because we haven't really looked at the situation, really considered this man and how he helps people with what he does, the sacrifice. And anytime we live for God being an example, it's a sacrifice.
Thank you. And keep in mind, it says, but the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. That can be found in James 3:17. That's the KJV. And then the NLT reads, but the wisdom from above is first of all pure. It is also peace, loving, gentle at all times, and willing to yield to others. It is full of mercy and the fruit of good deeds. It shows no favoritism and is always sincere. James 3:17. I want to go to the focal verses. All right. Want to read from James 3:13 down to James 18, please.
I'll start.
Okay, thank you.
James 3:13. Who is a wise man and endured with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not, lie not against the truth. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but in earthly sensual, devilish. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. 18 and last, and the fruit of goodness, of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace.
Okay. Can someone read the NLT that has it, please?
It reads, if you are wise and understand God's ways, prove it by living an honorable life, doing good works with the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you are bitterly jealous and there is selfish ambition in your heart, don't cover up the truth with boasting and lying. For jealousy and selfishness are not God's kind of wisdom. Such things are earthly, unspiritual, and demonic.
Wow.
For wherever there is jealousy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder and evil of every kind. But the wisdom from above is first of all pure. It is also peace loving, gentle at all times, and willing to yield to others. It is full of mercy and the fruit of good deeds. It shows no favoritism and is always sincere. And those who are peacemakers will plant seeds of peace and reap a harvest of righteousness.
My God.
Wow. Let's go over to the in-depth one. We're gonna go back over. Yes. It says, 2 types of wisdom. Would someone like to read that?
According to James, there is false wisdom that stems from bitter jealousy and self-interest. In fact, those are demonic impulses because they run counter to the value imparted by the gospel. Jealousy and bitterness suggest discontentment, which runs counter to the message throughout the scriptures that in Christ we have all that we need. Self-interest and a mind constantly curved in on itself suggests a absorption that does not readily lead to a love of God and love of neighborhood. The 2 great commandments, according to James, these impulses that undergird all type of sin. Alternatively, we are to be peacemakers, sowing seed and purity, peace and gentleness, by showing mercy because Christ has been merciful to us, impartiality because Christ's grace was extended to us without bias, and sincerity because of the full commitment that Christ exhibited on the cross. We exhibit the wisdom from above. When have envy and covetousness blinded you to your love of neighbor. When have envy and covetousness blinded you to your love of neighbor.
Okay. So, when have envy and covetousness blinded you to your love of neighbor? That sounds good. Yes. You want me to answer the question? It says, when have envy and covetousness blinded you to your love of neighbor? When has it blinded you to the love of your neighbor?
You have some neighbors that they think you will, and it will blind you to it will blind you. Now, I can love my neighbor from a distance. I can love Austin. from this, but I don't have to associate with it. And so I had a neighbor, he was had his kid up in the air, but I spoke to him every day. And now that I speak to him, but you know, if I had something, when I give out food, I would offer to him. 9 times out of 10, he was coming down, but every now and then he would take. And so I never got to know him real good because he was not friendly. Maybe he was friendly with somebody else, but he wasn't friendly with me. But it didn't bother me because I knew that what I had to do, I had to do. And then what to treat him the way Jesus would require me to do. So I kept on treating him right, doing what was right. And he passed away. I didn't even know the man was sick. I didn't know he was sick. He passed away. He had a daughter just like me. She didn't ask me to, so I kept my distance from her. When I spoke to her, I treated her.
So what does the word say in commandment? Love thy neighbor as thyself, right?
But then again, he had to put, who is your name?
Yes. Right.
He that does the will of who? My Father. Now, that's your neighbor.
Right, that's your neighbor.
Now, everybody next door to you is not your neighbor.
Anybody else want to expound on that? I'm gonna read the people, places, and times in the background. You can go back to the other four verses. The people, places, and times, it reads, oath. Covenants are always confirmed or accompanied by oath. Genesis 26:28, Ezekiel 17:18. The oath by which allegiance to the covenant was sworn involved a self-cursing formula to guard against disobedience. A person who enters a covenant places himself in a position where curses will fall upon him if he violates the covenant obligations. The Mosaic Law commands that Israelites would swear by God's name. That's in Deuteronomy 10:20. Taking a sworn oath in the Lord's name declared acceptance of God as their highest authority. Jesus cautions, however, not to take oaths at all, but to be known as so faithful to your word that you do not need to swear. That's Matthew 5:33-37. So what it's saying is that, we don't have to, when you go to making these oaths, instead of going through all that, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Otherwise, you don't get yourself caught up in all of that. Oh, I promised this and I promised that. If you can't do it, you say you can't do it. If you want to do it, you say yes. That's it. That's enough. Simple as that. Background. The thesis of the book of James, Jesus' half-brother, can be found in James 2:17, that faith alone without works is dead. This is not contradictory to Paul's treatment of faith or the claim central of the Reformation that justification is by faith alone. Like John Calvin, the Reformation theologian, said, we dream neither of a faith devoid of good works, nor of a justification that stands without them. Instead, we know that true faith is always accompanied by good works, as the book of James reminds us of what those good works look like. This does not mean that as Christians, we work to earn God's approval as such. Work will never yield the result we want, which is perfection. Instead, faith links us to Christ, who justifies us and sanctifies us. As we look to the wisdom that James teaches us, let us remember the right relationship between faith and works. That is the life of the Christian, that they are distinct but inseparable. The book itself is referred to by some as the New Testament book of Proverbs. Such a characterization is not unfounded. Here, proper patterns of Christian behavior are set with an emphasis on the commitment that the Christian is to have to the poor, the widow, and the orphan, those whom the Lord has expressed a special care for. Now we're gonna go back over to the focal verses, James 5:7-12. Lord, behold the the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain. Be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. Take my brethren and prophets who have spoken in the name of the Lord for an suffering, affliction, and patience. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of very tender mercy. But above all things, my brethren, swear not, neither by heaven, neither by the earth, neither by, but let your yea be yea and your nay nay, lest your nation. Can someone read LT, please?
Dear brothers and sisters, be patient as you wait for the Lord's return. Consider the farmer patiently wait for the rains in the fall and in the spring. They eagerly look for a valuable harvest. You too must be patient. Take courage, for the coming of the Lord is near. Don't grumble about each other, brothers and sisters, or you will be judged. For look, the judge is standing at the door. For example of patience and suffering, dear brothers and sisters, look at the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. We give great honor to those who endure under suffering. For instance, you know about